Okay, this is the planter for the smart tractor. It actually bolts onto the rear end of the gearbox and derives its power from the gearbox. The power is transmitted through the transmission onto the drive chain, which drives the rotors or the rotor tillers. Basically, this planter combines rotor tilling or land preparation with planting. So if you prepare the land and plant your seed at the same time, underneath we have the rotors that do the cultivation, and then on this side we have the seed hopper and the seed drive mechanism. This planter employs what we call fluted roller, which is basically suitable for smaller seeds, but it can also on some occasions be used for larger grains. This one comes with the 6 tines, which means you can plant 6 lines at the same time, but you can also block some of the seed meters to achieve the number of tines you want to use. Maybe you want to go down to 3 or down to 2. It depends on what you want to plant and the spacing, so you can do that. On the rear end we have the flap. Usually with the rotavators, they tend to kick a lot of stones, dust, and you need the operator to be protected, so we have the flap over there. In operation, you must make sure that it's lowered. If it's broken or torn, you need to replace it. And then at the far end we have the roller, which is basically meant to press back the soil. After tilling it and planting, you need to press it back firmly to make sure that your seed is not only covered but is firmly in touch with the soil. That adjustment can be done through the side here. You can see several holes. You can move that bar up and down to achieve different effects on the covering of the seed, and in many cases this will also act as a depth control, so you need to set it up before you go to the field. The other thing I need to mention is that before you go to plant, the first thing once you attach the planter you need to do is to do calibration, and calibration is the process of making sure that you plant and get the right plant population. If you're also applying fertilizer, you need to make sure that you are putting the right amount of fertilizer. That's a process of calibration which you need to do before you start the planting. This is the seed metering mechanism. We call this a fluted roller. As you can see, when I move it, it has some flutes going across, and the way you adjust the seed rate is by moving it, sliding it along the seed metering box. The more you expose, the more seed you scoop, so the higher the plant population. The less the fruits are exposed, the less the seed you get, and the lower the plant population. So this is where you adjust. There's a lever over here which you can slide to and fro to vary the amount of the fruits that are exposed to the seed. If it's fertilizer, it would be the same thing. You control it by sliding it in and out to vary the exposure of the fluted roller. I didn't talk about the gear, the way in which the rotors or the rotavators are powered. The rotor blades are powered through the gearbox onto there is another set of gear and door clutch over here, and once you engage, the power is transmitted through a shaft to this end, which houses a transmission chain. Power is transmitted through the chain onto the shaft that cuts across and onto which the rotor blades are tied. So power comes through there, through the shaft, onto the chain drive, onto the shaft that holds the rotor blades, and that's how you power the rotor tiller blades. I was saying the rotor blades are driven from the gearbox, but the seed meters and fertilizer meters are driven from the axle of the tractor through a chain can see the chain over there, which goes under to another sprocket under the planter, which is attached to the shaft that houses the flute rollers. So that chain is the one that drives the metering mechanism. As you move forward, the chain will rotate, and so will the seed meters. And at the back of it, we have the gear shift that enables you to engage the seed meters and to disengage. Of course, when you get to the end of the field and you want to turn, you don't want to turn while still planting. You need to disengage your seed meters and then lift the planter and turn as need may be. And then once you start going again, you need to engage your seed meters. So that enables you not to plant at the ends when you are turning. Okay, once you have mounted your planter, rototiller cam planter properly and calibrated it, set the depth, and you want to move, what you normally do is you select the gear that you want to start with, maybe between 1 and 3, low range, and then you disengage your clutch as usual and you start moving. And as you move, then you need to engage the clutch that drives the rotor blades. Power is transmitted from the tractor gearbox to the drive mechanism of the rotor blades through a dog clutch, which is operated by this lever. So the moment you start moving, you need to engage that lever there so that your rotor blades can start rotating and tilling the soil. So that's how you engage the rotor blades. After setting the seed rate and you engage and you are moving, you engage the clutch that engages the seed mechanism. Seed comes from the hopper, is metered by the fluted roller onto the seed delivery tube to the tine, behind the tine, where it is dropped, and then it's covered. You need to check the oil level in this chain transmission case, and the way you do it is by opening a bolt which is on the side. It's over there, down here, and see if there is no oil coming through, then maybe you need to open this bolt here, refill it to that level, and then tighten your bolts. That is very important. You need to be able to periodically open. You even check the chain tension and tension it if need be. You can also check it for wear from time to time, and if it's worn out, you need to replace it.